Well, good afternoon. We've chosen another setting today. It's just about 100 yards below the main bridge into our little town of Bakewell. You can see how blessed we are to have this lovely river where we can come out and find a bit of peace and quiet. Three very good questions came through the comments yesterday, which I've taken a note of. One was asking how I meditate. One was on humility. And the third was, how can we, once having had a taste of freedom in meditation, how do we cope with coming back into the world? So I'm going to try and deal with all these as one. Well, the first one is really rather difficult to answer, because if I go back nearly 60 years and try to remember how I was taught to meditate, well, it was quite a systematic process, and I'm not going to attempt to tell you that over internet, because it was given in a formal way, individually, one-to-one. And I've always understood that was the best way to pass it on, straight from someone with experience to someone without, one-to-one. And that's how I tried to do it myself. But it was based on a mantra, I can tell you that. And the emphasis was on regular practice. To start with, just a few minutes a day, and then it gradually lengthened. Practice, practice, practice. This is what we were told to do. And this is what I've done all my life. But like everything in life, it develops with practice and as we grow older. So, and again, I'm not going to try and attempt to spell this all out for you, because you see, one of the factors about meditation, it's everybody is different. So there isn't a one-size-fits-all. There isn't really a recipe that I can give out to all of you. Well, only in very general terms. But I'd just like to emphasize one thing. You probably noticed that I'm standing out on green grass among space. There's a lovely river behind me. There's sky above. There's a breeze blowing. I'm not sitting cooped up in a little box somewhere. I've come out for space. And one of the great principles of meditation is this expansion. It's growing into something bigger. Now, here we are in a bigger physical space, which makes one feel better. It's just, you just get out of that little box. Immediately, you get life in a bigger context. And so it is with the mind. When the mind expands into something bigger than its normal little preoccupations like that, when it's just expanding the mind. There was an old saying, travel expands the mind, broadens the mind, and absolutely true it is. Just getting out of the daily rut and just going somewhere different. It broadens the mind. You get a wider perspective on things. And in meditation, that happens on an even grander scale. The direction is from limits, from the limited vision of our own little egoistic perspective into the unlimited. Where does that end? I always like to look at the sky, because I think that's a marvelous illustration. So simple, so obvious, so direct, isn't it? It's from this little thing to that. That's meditation. It's expansion. Now then we come back again. back into the world where everybody is in their little boxes and they all expect you to speak from your little box because that's what's normal. And how do you cope with it? It's difficult. Suddenly you see the extent of our human bondage. You see how limited we are, how boxed in we get with our own personal ideas, opinions, worries, preoccupations, etc. And you realize that there's something better. Life shouldn't be like that. There's more to it. And so you can get very frustrated. And how can I once having tasted freedom, how can I go back into prison? Because that's really what it is. Let me just divert for a moment to point out that, as was once pointed out to me many years ago, that in the human condition, because we have left our true home of heaven, of paradise with God, where originally we came from, we have transgressed. And for that we receive the just consequence of our transgression. So we are put in prison. Now what's this if not a prison? A prison of the body. How small can I get? Why aren't I the sky? Why can't I be as big as the sky? Why do I have to be boxed into this old man's body, full of, all the troubles of the flesh? Well, here we are, we're in prison. Now go on, let me go on. Condemned to hard labor. Isn't that what happens to criminals? Condemned to hard labor under sentence of death. There we are. Is that what you really want? Is that the full stature of man? Now then, you see, my dears, that once you get a taste of something better, you realize this really terrifying condition of what is called sin. When we turn away from God and substitute for God this so-called human existence, which is really a shadow, a travesty of the real life. And that's why everything's the wrong way around in this world, and we all end up running this way and that to try not to get coronavirus. That's the consequence. Well, it's very humbling, isn't it, to see how we got ourselves into this mess. So here comes in humility. Man isn't much, is he? In fact, he's a pretty pathetic little thing when you think about it, when you consider how we could be and how we are. So humility is a consequence and a very sound thing. In fact, humility is one of the few things worth acquiring in this life. Because the less of me, as I keep saying to you, the less of me, the more of God, because it's this ego, it's the me, I, me, mine, that is the organ of separation which keeps us separate from the liberation of the sons of God. There you are, that's another good phrase from somewhere. The liberty of the glorious sons of God. So, meditation. Well, how do I meditate? Dear, I've forgotten. I can't tell you. I'm not sure that I know myself these days. I think more than a matter of me doing anything about it, I just get taken. Just like I come outside, my dears, I don't have to make an effort or sort of sound some magic formula to just look at the sky. I look up at the sky and I just go up there. I just expand. So there you are. That's meditation. So I don't think I need to give you a system, do I? Just go outside and look at the sky, or look at the far horizon, or if you're living in a big city, do the best you can. And then you'll see that, well, yes, right, probably in the beginning, your first stages of it, you need a mantra or something, And you repeat it, and in this way you begin to get the idea, you begin to get the taste of what it's all about. And then we come under what's called the pull of the way. Now, the pull of the way is when you get, the old expression was with a horse, get the bit between its teeth. And then off he goes. And you don't need to do much except just sit there and enjoy the ride. Is that it? Have I answered your questions? God bless you, dears, for another day. Bye-bye.